You've reached the Iceberg Lounge. Unfortunately, we've had to delay our opening until October 21st. If you're looking for Tracy Buxton dancing in nothing but an umbrella and a monocle, I'm afraid you're out of luck, sunshine.
I was raised on many comic books, movies, TV shows, and more specifically, video games when it came down to superheroes. But the superhero that takes the cake for all of these combined is Batman and the Arkham series. Batman Arkham Shadows is an 8 out of 10 for me so far, but I haven't beaten the game fully because, well, I've been sick, Thanksgiving is around the corner, I've been busy, and there's been a lot of other real life stuff I also have been dealing with. But I do want to say that I have not finished the plot, so I will not go into details of whether or not I like the plot or not, but I will go into detail about the graphics, the gameplay, and everything else in between so far for what I've played. Oh. You know,
What, ain't they on the same side?
Gordon and the Bat, maybe. Everyone else? Hell no.
Know why you want that, and I don't care. I don't take sides in here. I'm sweet.
Think you mean...
And if this comes...
I mean Switzerland.
We ain't ever...
Hot damn, you new here? Sweet. A new fish and he ain't no shrimp. He's gonna krill it. And you gonna krill it? I know you will.
Now, it was brought to my attention that I needed to get a Quest 3 to even play the damn game, or a Quest 3S, and a lot of fans of the IP, including me, was a little skeptical because VR hasn't really shown too many games to bring into mainstream media that looked like it was actually worth the price tag. Not to mention, the Quest 2 didn't really help with supporting devs' dreams for making VR games worthwhile due to the lack of power in the hardware to support good graphics, good frame rate, and even solid gameplay. But I'm going to tell you this. The Quest 3 was not only an improvement to the Quest 2, which obviously is, part of the deal, but this game might be the next step for VR gaming that we need to have. Let's review Arkham Shadows, a Quest 3 exclusive. Well, let's first talk about the graphics. It may surprise you, but on a standalone headset, it actually looks good. Seriously, gone are the days of PS1 graphics, because now we're on PS2 graphics, baby, hell yeah! The golden era of gaming, in my opinion, now being brought into VR is something I think we desperately needed. Now, stylistically, it's helpful that most of the graphics and design of characters make them look really bulky as crap. Almost everyone looks like they took a whiff of Bane's musk and they just grew a 10-pack overnight, but it's something that's part of the Arkham games. They have this semi-hyper realism mixed in with cartoony expressions that really sells the IP entirely. So I think it looks good and it's on the same level of some other Arkham games. Obviously, it's not going to be super pretty graphics, but it's enough to understand that you're in the world of the Arkham series, and I'm appreciative of that. But I'm going to admit, it does sometimes throw me off when I look at some heads. They sometimes look good, sometimes look like Clayface just decided to pretend they're everyone and didn't have enough clay to fill in some people's faces. You know what I mean? But all in all, the aesthetics, they're okay for a VR game specifically too. And using it all on standalone, it's nice. But let's talk about the gameplay now and the price of a mission. For a game worth $50, it's actually full of content. Enough content to actually make me think that it is worth $50. From the story, for its replayability, there's a lot to it. For starters, fighting is a big part of this game, and when you get into it, you should expect to throw a lot of sweat around when using the Quest 3. And I also suggest to give yourself a little more room if you can, because when you're throwing hands to stop criminals for justice, you'll forget about the real world you're in, and you could accidentally, hit your desk, your wall, your chair, your cabinet, whatever furniture you have around you. So please make sure you have enough space, because when you throw your hands out, you're going to extend it to actually hit the criminals. But yeah, I love to punch a lot of criminals in this game, and I do think that maybe it's not the best combat, but it's the same combat you'd expect from any other Arkham game, so it feels like you're right at home. There's no BS new VR mechanic only for VR crap, but it's a genuine replica of the old combat system. You can counter enemies with your cape, dodge, jump over them, throw your punch so you get some lunge, and there's also stealth combat too. A word?
Oh, that's pretty cool. See, I wish they did this more often in games.
And the controls are fine. There are some issues I have with it whenever I do go into fights. For example, sometimes it says I'm too fast for punching, which, by the way, Batman punches at like Mach 10, so I don't understand me punching at like an actual human speed means anything in this game, but you know, that's just me. And sometimes it can get buggy when it's time to pull the cape for like counters, because you could accidentally grip your controller like you're trying to pull out your fist, but you do a counter instead. Sometimes it's a little finicky, so maybe that's just me because I like actually gripping my hands fully to make my fists. But the other issue is leaving your arms out for countering. Sometimes when you're trying to punch someone on the ground to finish them off so they don't get up, there's a counter system for you pull out your arm, you can counter someone who's trying to hit you from behind, but sometimes it can be a little buggy because when you're trying to hit someone on the floor and you bring out your arm like you're actually Batman, somehow the game thinks that you're trying to block it, which is not a big deal. It saved me multiple times for hits that I could have actually died from, but at the same time, it's not my intention to counter that. So it really does depend on how you control yourself. For me, it is a little difficult because I'm not someone who does a lot of physical punching games in VR, so maybe I'll just have to get used to this personally. But aside from, you know, combat and the normal gameplay, there's also some bugs here and there I found. Nothing too crazy to the point where it's unplayable, but there are some parts of the game that I've been enjoying that has issues. Like, for example, my head decided to be decapitated and my body decided to stand up on its own, and it looked a little awkward. So there's little fixes here and there they can fix, but nothing so bad to the point where you can't play the game, which I appreciate. And there's also other parts of the game that I've been enjoying, like adventuring. Even though it is much linear than the other Batman games, you can't just go anywhere, they still try to capture the essence of what these games provide, and it is a lot of atmosphere, and they provide it pretty well. Like I keep telling y'all, I think getting immersed into a game you're playing in VR, they must have a good atmosphere, and the Arkham IP is a perfect game to make that happen. From listening to prisoners' history and then talking to other prisoners or guards.
Look at this. Ferris Boyle. GothCorp's CEO is slumming it in Blackgate with the rest of us rats.
Guards talking about their side hustles.
You side gig and you want a partner. What's the job?
Not here. We'll talk tonight.
Why so hush hush?
Because these walls have ears, eyes, and noses for snooping. And nobody can know about this. Not even
Make it 10 times better to continue on playing and then replay it again to see if you miss any details after beating the game. Especially if it has a hidden meaning for the lore of the IP and for future games. Cause damn well we know we want another game that's about Batman and not the fucking sidekicks. Just saying. And the other thing I enjoy right now is the plot. And I'm not gonna review the plot because I'm still not finished with it, but I do want to talk about the characters that I've met so far. I really feel like they're alive, and the details in their faces for facial expressions or reactions really provide a lot of information of what they do feel.
And I won't have you bullying them.
These men are hardened criminals, Dr. Quinzel. You can't heal their fractured minds with cuddly vibes and finger painting.
It's called art therapy, you ghoul. Oh, hi.
Afraid we have a straggler.
Mr. Malone, tell us about your childhood.
My childhood. All right. My parents were both murdered in front of me when I was a kid. I saw it. I couldn't stop it. I froze. And they never caught the guy who did it.
Oh, my dear. I'm so sorry. I feel sick in my soul for you.
That's it? The subject has no use for your feelings, Doctor. He needs a clinical diagnosis, not a bleeding heart.
Aren't you supposed to be quietly observing? Keep your comments to yourself, Crane.
I am here to supervise this clown
My
car.
parents would fight. All the time. They'd rage at each other. And at me. I called it prize fighting, because I always got the belt. 7 years old. Couldn't defend myself. I did some awful things over the years to get back at them.
And not to mention, you also have different dialogue options to choose from so that you can get more information about a certain character, or you can just tell someone to fuck off as Malone.
They call me Bird, one of Bane's lieutenants. I'm one of the most feared men in Blackgate. And yet you walk up to me like you know me.
Which, speaking of, Matches Malone is an alter ego to Batman and Bruce Wayne. So when you play Matches Malone, you get a lot more lore with certain characters and even more details with Bruce Wayne. And it's nice to see a different side or an alternate timeline to the Arkham series and the Batman IP. And there's also a slew of references from old comics and old villains that I think any Batman fan can understand or figure out.
Yamashiro.
Yeah, cool off, Matches. No! Abusing prisoners! My job.
And there's also a couple other things that I enjoy, you know, for example, the old gadgets that have been brought back. You can see them up close and personal now. Some hidden phone numbers you can look up yourself and hear more lore droppage, you know, from the Arkham series. Seriously, there is a good amount of details on lore that even the biggest fans will get a kick out of. Like, what's the deal with Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne?
Bruce, it's Vicky. Voicemail, huh? Look, this isn't about you standing me up. Again.
Because I wouldn't mind Batman not getting Catwoman's fine ass for a change and going for someone who's a little bit more normal for the sake of his sanity. Aside from my own little personal bias, I really think this has a lot going for it, and I've been playing about 10 hours total now, and I'm only 20% completed with the game, so this game probably has around 50 hours total, and if not more replayability value to it because there's hidden stuff around that you can find. There's a whole lot more I'm probably missing out on too, but I'm glad there's a lot of length for this game because for $50, I don't want it to be around 2 to 4 hours long. I want that shit to be very, very, very long. So at the end of it all, I can't really say for certain what the plot holds, but the gameplay, graphics, and performance is an 8 out of 10 for me. It's a solid choice for those who want to try to play a single player game and try out VR for the first time, whether it would be with a Quest 3 or Quest 3S. And I think it is really worth the $50 price tag. I'm not even joking. But I do want to say that my opinion and review of this game may change over time once I finish the game fully, and it might be a 9 out of 10 once the plot finishes and see how the game is progressed. It does seem like there's a lot of lore droppage and a lot of love that was implemented into this game. And not only that, the game is also getting updated with new content soon. So it's nice for Arkham series fans, even though it is in VR and a lot of people are probably sighing at the fact that it's only in VR. And don't worry, you don't have to get it. I do think you can probably watch some people play it and see the lore for yourself. But I think the best experience that you can have with VR is actually experiencing it for yourself. And that's it for me, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I think on the next video, I'm actually going to be reviewing the 12.0 update for Into the Radius. And also, I'm probably also going to review the 11.0 update because I haven't played Into the Radius 2 in a fat minute. I've just been waiting for this game to get updated a lot so that I'm able to play it fully. And since the game is also early access, sometimes the optimization isn't really the best. So it's kind of difficult for me to record it on PC since my PC can't really handle all too much VR like that. But if you want to support me and help me out, try to get a better PC so you guys get more videos, hit that subscribe button and also watch the videos entirely. It'd be much appreciated. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers and I'm super excited to see where the future of this channel holds, and I'm hoping that you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll check you guys all later. Deuces, take care, everyone.